of questioning.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, this is an opportunity to get the State Department right, I hope. And I will tell you, I'm going to start with a quote from Clausewitz. War is a mere continuation of policy by other means. I am convinced that we call it great power competition. I'm not sure that's what it is. I think we're in a hybrid war now. You may remember just a couple of days ago in Spain, Portugal, and southern part of France, there was an outage. Siemens Security now says that it was a cyber attack. It was on the SCADA equipment, and it caused cascading failure across two countries and part of another. I want to pick up on something that Chairman Emeritus McCall said, because in your written statement, Ambassador Jeffrey, you talked about the DoD combatant commands need to be aligned with the bureaus. I am of the opinion, and I'd like your opinion, of State Department and DoD need to work together in the national interest of the United States across the world, because policy in the State Department simply is acting in our national interest and eventually to preclude war between great powers. So I think that this committee ought to inform the NDAA, because we ought to have a coordinated national policy for where we are going as a nation, which would include the backup of hard power to any soft power that we exercise around the world. China is certainly on the march, and they're making moves toward Taiwan. I just returned from Europe, and one of the points we were making to our European allies is when they build infrastructure, such as pipelines, they need to be coordinated with the war plans that General Cavoli is putting in place in NATO and turning NATO into a legitimate war-fighting organization. Yesterday, I held a hearing in the Europe Subcommittee on the cyberspace and digital policy branch of State Department. So I would ask you, Ambassador, for your thoughts on this, and particularly the digital policy here, because it is a part of the hybrid war that we are in now.
Thank you, Congressman, and thanks for the Clausewitz quote. It's one of my favorites. Our flag officers are responsible for the other means. That's their business. Our job is the continuation, that plug-in between policy and what the military is doing in the field, the things they blow up, the things, territory they hold, territory they seize. And I found the military is very willing to listen to diplomats in the State Department. But the procedures, be it on the digital account, be it on emerging technologies, be it on new threats, the channels have to be clear-cut. It's very hard to have two battle buddies, and most of our combatant commanders and most of our assistant secretaries are in that situation, and it undercuts the immediate understanding, the sort of mind meld that you get in the field. For example, when I was in Iraq and later in Syria, I had a 3- or 4-star military counterpart in only one, and those officers only had one. It was me, and it worked very, very well. So I do think that that's important. In terms of the new threats, again, we bring the civilian side, which is often very important on these emerging military technologies, again, cyber, digital, all of that stuff. We can bring that to the table, and we can reinforce what the military is doing.
Very good. So for the two ambassadors, where would you put cyberspace and digital policy?
You mean organizationally in the State Department?
Where would you put it?
I think it's really hard, actually. You can have pros and cons for any of the conceivable ideas that I've seen. There was a movement to put it under P, where I served. I didn't think that was a particularly wise idea, partly because I knew I didn't have the skill set, frankly, as Undersecretary to really grapple with the cyber threat. It was beyond my experience zone. So I think the first thing, not to skip your answer, I'll come back to it, but the first thing is to make sure we actually have people who can handle it, you know, who have the background. we are diplomats, as Jim said, first and foremost. But we also have to have the technical competence to deal with the subject matter at hand. And I don't believe we've been training people to deal with the cyber threat. I would put it under in the T family if forced to make a decision, because again, I think you're more likely to get the kind of people who have the frame of mind to deal with it. It's global in nature, of course, and so that's where I would put it. And I know time is of the essence, but I would just reinforce, in my experience, the coordination between the Foreign Service and embassies and combatant commanders has been superb, and it works far better in the field than DoD state relationships do back here. Not that they're bad, but overseas, I think because we're all on the front lines of whatever we're dealing with, the cooperation and communication is really outstanding.
Very quickly, Ambassador, do you have an idea on CDP organizationally?
Yes, I would agree with David. It should be one of the global bureaus or offices, probably T, but the key thing is those are the kind of global things I like because they provide technical expertise. It's a worldwide problem. It spreads beyond any regional bureau. And they provide support to us like the counterterrorism people do. They don't try to do our job for us or take it away from us or compete with us. And that's very important.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rep.